Chelsea. I was thinking about you, and I was thinking about you in this week of events that you've had and having to watch it again, and what your thoughts were, because I know you haven't seen it in years. Because I was like, fuck, that bitch is on fire.
Yeah, I hadn't actually seen it in quite a long time. Last year I watched it for the first time at Outfest in 24 years. But Wednesday night was really interesting because it was the first time I watched it with Madonna again, literally 25 years after we were sitting together watching the premieres. And that was kind of cool. And during the Truth or Dare scene, there's that moment where Slam French kisses Gabriel. And Madonna's reaction to that is go, oh yeah, oh that's so hot, yeah. and I actually leaned over to Madonna on Wednesday night and I went, that's the reason this movie's a legacy. Because of your reaction to what just happened. And I really do believe that. I think, I was explaining to Chelsea, like, this was a time when, like, supporting gays was considered disgusting. Where the AIDS epidemic was considered, comeuppance, or like, they deserve that. And then you had Madonna, who at the moment was the most famous, the most important kind of star in the world. And she was kind of saying, I think that's hot, I think that's cool, I think that's okay. And I think in my analysis, that might be the reason why it might have touched so many young gay men who weren't in a position to necessarily feel that good about themselves.
Did you feel as a gay man while you were watching her?
Oh my gosh, she just outed me. I'm kidding.
Did you feel as a straight man that you were going to become gay? That you were going to make the choice to become gay? Did you feel?
I was pressured to become gay.
Did you feel at any moment, because of you must have felt at some point like, this is what I want everybody to, I want to scream from rooftops. Did you feel any of that?
You know what, I think I felt really compassionate for everybody who was in the film. More than like screaming off the rooftops, I just wanted to give them a voice.
But you were giving them that's what I mean by, like, you're giving them a voice.
So that was important to me.
Right.
Like, I was saying to an interviewer, I said, we shot 250 hours of film. So, shooting the gay parade wasn't a big deal. We were just shooting. Another day, where the dancers doing, we shot the gay parade. But obviously in the edit, the decision to put it in the film was absolutely mine, and it was important to me because I was like, this really says something about the dancers and about a group of people that Madonna loves and a subject that Madonna feels is really important. So the decisions editorially were absolutely part and parcel of my passions, I think, and Madonna's as well.
You are the direct best descendant of Madonna, and how much of an outspoken, loud, proud face of modern feminism you are. I think you are the face of modern feminism.
Thank you for saying that. That's a big compliment, and I'll take it. There's nothing grosser than somebody who can't take a compliment. But Alek said to me earlier, we were talking about that. He told me what you said, and he was saying that, when we were talking about that moment of the guys kissing in that film and what that meant for gay people. And I'm like welling up talking about it, like the bastion of like, it's okay, I'm gonna accept you, and then everybody else, I'll build a tunnel to the rest of the world to accept you. She's acting out on behalf, as we've all said, of so many people. And when somebody's acting out on your behalf, yeah, you better fucking be loyal to that person.
Yes. I was telling her that it was interesting after Truth or Dare, I still drove my really old VW Rapid convertible. Guys, I put a lot of rides. And the brakes didn't work. I didn't have the money to fix them. Thanks, Madonna. But I would pick her up.
Anyway.
She bought me great bookcases. But I would pick her up like 4 or 5 nights a week, and we would have dinner. And I was telling Chelsea, it was this crazy time. Like, she was at the zenith, in a sense, of her worldwide popularity and acceptance. Like, she'd done Express Yourself, she'd done Vogue, Blunt Ambition. She was kind of flying. And yet she was completely, at that moment, no bodyguards, no live-in help, no full-time assistant even. And it was just like me picking her up in a VW and going to a restaurant, and she would always order the Caesar salad no matter where we went.
And work out 3 hours. I was looking at her body, I'm like, I would cut my legs off for those arms.
Which would give you a really weird body.
You told me so many stories about her because you had such a close relationship with her, and she didn't give you any notes, right, on the documentary?
Not one.
She didn't say,
Not
take
one.
that out, I don't like that, I don't like what I said, I don't like how I'm perceived in that.
Which is amazing now that I think about it, now that I've worked with so many other stars on so many other
I worked with
projects.
Alek. Alek and I directed a Shadows, well, we'll get to that later. We'll get to me in a minute. And me and I!
You know, at the time I had nothing to compare it to. I knew that Madonna was humongous. I knew that I was a huge fan of hers.
Well, what was it like the first time you met her?
First time I met her was her watching a VHS tape of a theater production I'd done in college.
At Harvard, where he graduated when he was 16.
Which is very embarrassing because I'm like, oh, this is a bad VHS tape. But she wanted to watch all of it, and unbeknownst to me, she asked her agents, please show me whatever this kid does. And I did a bunch of videos. So when she called me for Truth or Dare, it was like out of the blue, picked up the phone one afternoon, and she went, hi, Alek, it's Madonna. Okay. And she goes, I don't know if you've heard, but I'm about to go on a world tour. I'm like, of course I've heard. Me and my friends have 30 tickets. But anyway, like, that was our first kind of encounter. And that's where it started. I'm going to tell you a secret. She asked me if I wanted to do Truth or Dare 2. We were sitting in her kitchen in LA. I said, there's a fundamental issue here, which is like Truth or Dare 2 right now needs to be about your new family, which is really your kids. I go, but that's a catch-22, because if I shoot you with your kids, people are going to think that's exploitative. But if I don't shoot you with your kids, then what's there to shoot? Well, I basically said, I don't think I'm the guy to do this. And so I kind of bowed out.
With Jonas.
Yeah, and Jonas did it. And Jonas
So it's all good.
What was that movie?
You ever saw it, Chelsea?
No.
I gotta tell you a secret. You gotta do your research.
I think I did my research. You get offers all the time for pop stars who want to do a documentary when they're 19. He's like, I can't. They want a Truth or Dare. He's like, I cannot make that happen for you. You are ridiculous. And so the authenticity that he brings to the table is very different than somebody trying to make a paycheck. And I've known you for many years now, and I know that about you. So when he said no to that, and some other movie was made that I've never heard of, there's your fucking answer. Like, as you know, when I'm watching the film and you notice the differences between like the black and white footage in her real life versus the color footage, how did you make that decision? I think that's more of a technical question, but I think it's interesting, and I don't know the answer.
Well, two reasons. One, I thought it would be an interesting kind of contrast, the artifice of the show. You know, that performance, which is all color and basically artifice. And then there was something much more fundamental and like almost mythical, archetypical about what was happening in real life. And it felt like black and white can convey that better. And on a practical level, it was also because the venues around the world were so ugly that they looked better in black and white.
And like when she does her voiceover throughout the movie, for instance, is that something that you must have wrote
I wrote that and she
afterward, right?
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, I'll do a voiceover for
Yes,
this to piece the story together.
That's right.
And throughout that, were there, like for instance, when she talks about Antonio Banderas and meeting him and having a crush on him and it leads to them going to Madrid, there must have been scenes
Well,
that
that doesn't lead to them going to Madrid.
Well, but in the film, it feels like that's a setup for Madrid, so
That's interesting, that's true.
but was it a setup?
No, I mean, they were going to Madrid to do a show. But you're right that when Sandra Bernhardt asked that question and she answered Antonio Banderas, I immediately cut to editorially that moment because that would have
And you had
impact.
that in the bank already?
No, I didn't.
So how did you?
So Sandy Bernhardt brought that up in Toronto. That happened like 2 months later. I just knew in my head
Right.
that I had to get that as the.
Because as a
the
viewer,
ending.
I'm watching that, as somebody who's in television and knows about editing, I'm watching that thinking, oh, you're telling her to tee up Antonio Banderas. Because that's how smart I think I am. Gotcha.
It's like with Moira McFarland, you know, she brings up that moment, and when she's in the mirror talking about Moira McFarland, that's in Japan. And then, you know, I tell my producers, we have to find more Moira, bring her, you know, somewhere where we can interview her, and then they need to meet again. So in that respect, I did get kind of involved, because once we found her, once we
Right.
brought her to, I think it was DC, I did go up to Madonna and go, Moira McFarland's here, will you meet with her for a second? And she's like, whoa. Around 2/3 of the way through, I knew everything I had gotten, and I said to Madonna, I have so many great aspects of you, but I don't feel I've captured the vulnerability. And I knew the vulnerability because like every night before she went to bed, we'd be on the phone for like 15, 20 minutes. And every morning when she woke up, we'd be on the phone for maybe 10 minutes. And I knew in those moments, like when she was tired or half awake, what she was like. And when I told her, like, I don't think I've gotten your vulnerability, she actually got really teary-eyed. She was like upset. She was like, I've given you all this and you don't have my vulnerability. She's like, sorry, I don't. But I wanted to capture that moment in the morning when I would speak to her before she was fully caffeinated and like, you know.
What does she drink, coffee or tea? So she doesn't drink coffee.
She drinks coffee.
She does.
Yeah.
I don't drink coffee. I don't fucking need it. Any questions?
How hard are you looking for the missing footage? You said the other night that you have no idea
I
where
can't
it's
really look that hard for it because it's not mine. I'm trying to get Madonna and her managers to look for it.